Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about how to use EFT to release the fear of failure so you can be much more successful in your life. My name is Stefan Gonik. I'm an expert EFT practitioner, trainer, and soulmate attraction mentor from EFTalive.com. And unfortunately, failure is a part of life, and it's something that we're all going to experience at various different times in our life. Now, in fact, if you look at successful entrepreneurs, statistically speaking, they tend to have 2 to 3 failed businesses before they have their first successful one. So ideally, we want to be like them and learn from our failures so we can become more successful rather than get terrified of failing and to the point where it can hold us back from even trying or sabotage ourselves as we try and go for something that's really important to us. The Japanese have this really wonderful saying that goes like this: fall down 10 times, get up 11. Which I think captures the very thing we're talking about. So the question is, how do we use EFT to address this? Well, there's 2 approaches, one that I call sort of a surface approach, and there's a deeper approach. The surface approach is you try and tap on the feelings of failure themselves, right? So you might, as you think of a certain goal, you might get in touch with the fact that you're feeling scared of failing, and you try and tap on it. Even though I'm scared of failing, doing such and such, I deeply and profoundly love them and accept myself, things like that. Now, this surface approach may help a little bit, but it doesn't tend to be very powerful or effective. So, in my experience, a much better approach is to go deeper and figure out what the sources of your fear of failure, the sources are, right? Because none of us are born with a fear of failure. If you look at little kids, you see them trying things and failing and trying again, and experimenting, and they don't even get discouraged. They just keep going, right? So, a fear of failure is something that we develop from past painful experiences. So what are some of these painful kinds of experiences that can lead to a fear of failure? So I'm going to talk about a couple of them from childhood, and then the third one is the most dramatic one. We're going to talk about that one third, and then I have a method you can use to get in touch with any other sources of your fear of failure that might be very personal and specific to you. All right, so the first common source of a fear of failure is growing up with one or both parents who are very critical and judgmental. So when you try and do things, they tend to point out what's wrong with what you did, right? So you end up feeling nothing you do, everything you do is wrong, right? So nothing you do is right, everything you do is wrong. And that can end up having the same kind of fear as an adult. So it may not come up so much when you're doing things that are not that important to you, but when you try and do something that's super important to you, those old fears of being judged and criticized will flare up. And if they're strong enough, you may not even attempt the thing that you wanted to do. Or what you might do is go kind of do it half-heartedly, right? Because if you only try halfway, then if you fail, you have this excuse. It's like, well, I didn't really try. I didn't give it my all, my best. Unfortunately, trying it halfway is usually a guarantee that it will fail. So it's a self-defeating approach, but a common one. So that's the first common source. A second common source, excuse me. A second common source is kind of similar to the first, but different. And this is a parent who is never satisfied. So it's not that what you did was wrong, it's just that it could always be better. It's like, look, I got a 98 out of 100. Oh yeah, well, why did you get those 2 wrong, right? Or they'll say, I did some cool thing, and they'll say, well, that was good, but this is what you can do to make it even better. So you end up with this feeling that nothing you do is good enough, right? So it's like, no matter what I do, it can always be better. So it can lead to this feeling that you need to be perfect. And that can be very scary because deep down we all know none of us can be perfect, right? Human beings cannot be perfect. So that can be very scary and intimidating when you're trying to do something important. When you have this really important goal, you'll have this fear that it won't be good enough. So that becomes the source, another source of a fear of failing. This feeling that it won't be good enough. Now I'm going to share with you the really big dramatic one. And what this one is, and this one can happen at any age. The first 2 will tend to only happen, really be about childhood. This other one can happen at any age. It can happen when you're a little kid, a teenager, or an adult at any point. And what this is where you have something that you really want badly, this really big goal in your life, and you go all out trying to achieve it, right? So like you're, not holding back at all. You put your heart and soul into trying to get that thing or do that thing, and then you fail. And the end result then is that can be so painful. So it's not simply disappointing, but it's kind of devastating, right? So it becomes so painful, such a painful experience, that we become afraid of repeating it again. We become very gun shy. And again, it'll tend to only show up for things that are super important to us. Medium things, the stakes don't feel that high. But for some big, it's like I still had this old painful experience from when I failed dramatically before. I'll give you an example from my own life. When I was in high school, I was a champion gymnast, right? I was really good at my specialty area. It's called side horse. And I lived in Los Angeles. It was one of the biggest school districts in the country. And I made it all the way to city finals, right? And it was supposed to be between me and this one other guy. We were like the two best. But what happened is when I went up to do my routine, something happened right before I went up that completely psyched me out. And I bombed my routine. So I was expecting to come in first or second, which would have been fine. But I ended up just bombing the routine. And I was devastated. For the next year, I went to college after that. And for the next year, I was like having all these nightmares, reliving this bombed gymnastic routine. Now, eventually, I got over it, and I thought I learned my lessons from it, life lessons, all the good stuff. But then many years later, I had a big goal, and I found myself not trying to do it, or not doing it, right? I really wanted to do it, but I couldn't get myself to start taking action and doing it. And it turns out that this failure that I had in high school was the source of it. So what do we need to do then to address this stuff? What we need to do is heal the original experiences. So in the case of this last example, my high school experience, that's just one experience, right? It's a single memory. So what we do is we use EFT to heal that memory and to keep tapping on it until I relieved all the painful feelings in that experience. And once I did that, I no longer had this fear, it had that gun-shy fear that I would fail again. Because I'd released all that old pain, so now I felt like I had the strength to face that possibility. Okay? Now, if you don't know how to heal a painful memory with EFT, I actually have another video called How to Heal a Painful Memory with EFT. So I'll have a link to that in the description of this video, so you can use that to guide you in healing painful memories. Now, in the case of the childhood ones, we have to do a little bit more, because those probably happened many, many times, right? Might have happened a couple hundred times with that parent, and both parents were, say, critical and judgmental, then that's a lot of experiences. What you need to do there is, again, use EFT to heal painful memories, but you don't have to heal them all. That would take forever. And luckily, you don't have to. All you need to do is heal around 3-ish, 3, maybe up to 5, and that's it. You don't have to heal them at all. So what you want to do is what I call first and worst. Look for the first time, the earliest time you remember your parent doing that. Either being critical of what you did, or what you did wasn't good enough, something like that. And you heal that memory. Then you think of a couple of the worst ones while you're still a child, right? And then you use EFT to heal those memories. And lots of times 3 will be enough to address that source. Maybe it'll take 4, maybe even 5, but that's usually the upper limit. So that's really cool. You don't have to heal tons of memories to clear that out. Just 3 to 5 is enough to heal that source. Now, if you had a parent who did both things, was critical all the time, and things could always be better, then you'd have to heal 3 to 5 of each type of experience. Once you do this, you will find that once you've healed all the stuff, that you won't have this intense fear of failure anymore, right? Still might fail, but it won't be this terrifying, intimidating thing. It'll be like, if I fail, it'll be disappointing, but I can learn from it and do better next time. Remember, get up 11. Fall down 10 times, get up 11. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If it was, it would really help me and other people to find this video if you click on the like button. I also invite you to subscribe to my channel to get other helpful videos using EFT to enhance your life. I also have a free ebook on my website at EFTalive.com called Change Your Beliefs, Change Your Life. Because we know that having negative beliefs about ourselves and in the world often really impacts what we can do in our life, and changing those negative beliefs into positive ones can be a very powerful way to make your life better. And then after you get the ebook, every couple of weeks you get
these sort of short and sweet little newsletters of various different practical ways to use EFT to make your life better. In any case, keep tapping, and I'll see you on the next one.